There does seem to be this general idea that air pollution just really affects older people, young children and toddlers and babies and those with existing lung conditions and heart conditions. But what about, me? I feel like it's really interesting. There I was in my late 20s, early 30s, feeling more and more unwell, gradually getting worse, and to the point that, it's become intolerable for me. So for the last 12 years, I've lived in a very busy part of North London, on the central London borders. Although it's a residential street, it's a busy rat run, very busy with traffic. And quite often the traffic will tail back to beyond past my flat and my window, and quite often I can smell the pollution in my front room. It's not pleasant at all. As soon as I step out my front door and I'm on my doorstep, I'm greeted or assaulted by the fumes, the traffic fumes. About a year and a half ago, I noticed that walking down the street was beginning to get quite unpleasant for me. I was beginning to become much more aware of the pollution around me, and I started getting other symptoms as well. I've been feeling very unwell for quite a long time, and one of the symptoms that was particularly distressing for me was hives, and was getting sort of hives, rashes and lumps on my skin that would just come and go, all different parts of my skin, different parts of my body, and that's a sign that there's inflammation in the body. A lot of my blood tests would be coming back as there being inflammation in my body, but there being no obvious cause or no obvious illness that could cause that. And all the while I'm beginning to still, my health is unravelling, and the pollution's really getting to me, but I wasn't really making a link then, and went to see various doctors, allergists, and they weren't able to shed any light as to what my problems were or to what was going on. And I eventually was fortunate enough to see a doctor who's an environmental specialist, and she was able to arrange tests for me that revealed high levels of benzene and high levels of nickel, and I hadn't informed the doctor about my troubles with car fumes and vehicle fumes and the fact that this was a problem for me. So I found it really enlightening that was what was going on. I was diagnosed with a sensitivity, particularly to those two chemicals, and they're both found in cigarettes and in car fumes. I've never smoked in my life. I live in central London and I'm constantly surrounded by traffic. I work in central London, and I can only put it down to the constant exposure to this filthy air that I'm having to breathe in every day. Nickel is found in vehicle fumes quite often because the nickel, because the exhaust pipes of vehicles get so hot, the nickel inside gets corroded and gets released into the atmosphere, and so we're breathing in nickel particles, and I've got a particular sensitivity to nickel, hence the nickel's been accumulating, and benzene. I think drivers need to wake up and need to realise how just simple steps can be taken to just try and reduce the air pollution in London and to protect ordinary Londoners like me and themselves. We're all being affected by it. We don't know we're being affected by it. Unfortunately, I now have this condition where I'm very aware and I can feel the effects of it. I've become hypersensitive to it, and it's just not a pleasant world to be in. Yeah. It feels like I'm choking on pollution when I walk down the road. I feel like I'm eating the pollution. I'm just suffocating with it. It's just awful car fumes. I feel like I can just taste it. What can I do to deal with it? So I've been advised to move out of London, to try and get away to where there's cleaner air, which is quite impractical really, considering I work in central London, but I get the impression that there's many people that suffer with sensitivities to air pollution, and it only actually just gets worse. I mean, I've been advised to avoid the triggers completely and to take myself away from the triggers that are making me ill. Benzene, nickel, car fumes, cigarette smoke, it's all around me. It's all around all of us every day. Can't really escape it. So I don't quite know how I'm going to sort of navigate this. Since the mayor came into office, he's been talking a lot about pollution and tackling London's air quality, and for me that's reassuring and encouraging. But what exactly is he doing, and how fast is he acting, and is it quick enough to save the lives of Londoners that are succumbing to the effects of air pollution every day? And the thing is, the effects of air pollution is not obvious and it's not direct. And when people are dying from illnesses and conditions that are related to air pollution, it's not going to say cause of death, pollution. No one's even going to sometimes think to attribute it to air pollution. I remember years ago when diesel was being touted as being more eco-friendly, greener, better for the environment, less emissions that were, harmful, etc., dangerous emissions. And here we are now, diesel is the very thing that's really killing us. I don't trust what the oil companies are telling us at all.